A labor study of the Brooklyn Center Police Department includes recommendations for the city to hire 16 more police officers. The city hired the National Policing Institute to analyze its department. The researchers recommended the city employ 36 police officers. The department currently has 20 and is authorized at 26. According to the study, about half of the city's officers feel, quote, emotionally exhausted and have considered quitting law enforcement.
Richfield and Plymouth have almost twice as much as we have. And then when I go to their workload of the offenses per detective, we're actually doing almost twice as much offenses per detective that they are doing.
Police Commander Tony Grunig called the study a, quote, blueprint and roadmap to improve the department. Police arrested 2 men posing as roofing contractors who were running scams in Robbinsdale and elsewhere around the Twin Cities. The 2 men were arrested this week in Minnetonka thanks to a homeowner who called police. Officers say that the men were both from England and now are in federal custody. Last week, Robbinsdale police warned of a roofing scammer who tried to swindle an elderly woman out of $10,000. In some instances, police say the scammers deliberately damaged chimneys or roofs to convince homeowners to make repairs. Police in Minnetonka are now working with other law enforcement agencies to determine how many cases are out there. Brooklyn Park City Council gave unanimous approval this week to a new apartment building. The proposed 115-unit building would be part of the 610 West complex and be located just southeast of the existing buildings located north of Highway 610 and east of Hampshire Avenue. 15% of the units would be considered affordable. This particular project would include studio units, which the existing complex does not have. One Maple Grove teenager is learning to tell stories on her own terms. She's one of 9 students at an intensive journalism camp at the University of St. Thomas. Emily Haugen explains how 360 Journalism wants to bring new voices to the news industry.
Divine, I think that as you write your story, I think the part about the state of emergency is probably going to be like the anchor intro to the story.
It's not always easy to put it in words.
Yeah, I like it. Keep writing.
Stories are how we understand the world.
In an industry that strives to get things right.
And I'll say that out loud and see if that feels comfortable for you.
Broadcasting still has a long way to go.
A lot of people, when they don't feel the need for representation, they don't understand it. They're like, why do you need to turn Ariel black?
What is the best place in the library to do the stand-up?
360 Journalism's camp is powered by a mission to empower.
We offer programming to diverse students with the hope of diversifying the news industry.
And we really feel like, helping students really tap into their own lived experiences is so important when we really are communicating about these topics.
What do you think of something like that?
Maple Grove's Divine Durashola is one of 9 campers diving into broadcasting.
I just wanted to try something new. I basically like everything that's creative.
On Tuesday, Divine interviewed her source.
Talking about gender care services, why there are some states that go against it and why there's some states that allow it.
That's better, yeah.
She also shot a stand-up with the help of industry professionals.
Minnesota is now a refuge for trans and non-binary people. For many other states, that is far from the case.
This week, she'll create a full story.
That was a really good one. How do you feel about that one?
Each story focuses on mental health.
In order to change dominant narratives on health, it really matters who's behind the camera and who's telling stories.
And those stories are told by campers whose voices aren't always heard.
When you see people who are the same color as you, who has the same interest as you, who are in the same marginalized communities as you, it shows that it's possible for me to do those things too.
Look right at the camera.
Is the camera the red?
It's teaching these kids their stories matter. In St. Paul, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
The 3M Open brings some of professional golf's biggest names and tens of thousands of fans to the Twin Cities this weekend. Part of the festivities also included a chance for a teenage golf phenom from Maple Grove to show what he's got. This summer, Seth Damsgaard is playing as much golf as possible. The 16-year-old member of Osseo Senior High School's golf team approaches every shot with purpose.
So I'm making sure that everything is as still as possible, and I'm really just making big movements with my body and not, hinging my wrists or anything like that.
Every shot, over and over.
It's super hard to hit a good golf shot, and so, all that hard work paying off and the ball doing exactly what you want. it's really cool.
Seth has been a part of First Tee and the 3M Open in Blaine for several years.
Let's welcome Seth from First Tee, Minnesota, to Team Rudolph. All right, Seth.
On Wednesday night, he got a chance to compete in the Compass Skills Challenge.
I'm mostly looking forward to interacting with all these cool people that are going to be involved with it. So the athletes, the pro golfers, the influencers. It's going to be a really cool experience, and I'm also excited to represent the First Tee and kind of get their name out there in front of a crowd.
He was the first player of the 16 to hit. He shared the tee box with retired NFL players Kyle Rudolph and Larry Fitzgerald, along with pro golfers.
There definitely is a bit of pressure, especially hitting right next to a PGA Tour player, but it's really just a fun activity, and so I'm not too worried about that.
He's more worried about improving his game.
I'm just trying to all around improve my consistency in the game. I can hit a good shot, but you know, that's every once in a while. That's only every once in a while, so I'm just going to play as much as I can and try to get consistent so I'm hitting good shots all the time.
More shots, more in line with what he wants.
It really challenges me, and I'm the only person that's responsible for my own score on the course. It's not like I have teammates that I can rely on or teammates, you know, that could tear me down. It's really just me and the course and what I do, and I think that's really cool.
Seth told me during the summer he plays in as many tournaments as he's able to. The 3M Open wraps up Sunday at TPC Twin Cities.